Dark Star can seem to be grounded in introspection, quietness, melancholy, at times even silence. But it is also full of raging intensities and ear-splitting soundscapes. Its jams can feel like a conversation or argument, like dancing or singing, or like floating in space, soaring toward the sun or falling through a void of freezing darkness. Sometimes it sounds like a rock song. Other times it sounds like folk, funk, jazz, blues, or avant-garde music. Dark Star can coalesce out of other songs. It can melt into other songs. It can even contain other songs within itself. For that reason, some have claimed that Dark Star is actually going on all the time. The band simply steps in and out of it when they play it. If that idea sounds a little bit cosmic or spiritual, it's because so many fans have felt just that, a transcendent, even life-changing quality in this song. Welcome, everyone, to this exploration of the Grateful Dead's song Dark Star on the 50th anniversary of their legendary European tour of 1972. I'm excited at this opportunity to talk to you about this beautiful song and to celebrate its unique status, not just as a core element of the Grateful Dead universe, but as an outstanding expression of the power and possibilities of music. My name is Graeme Boone, and I'm speaking to you from the Ohio State University where I teach. I'm actually sitting in the university planetarium here, which is a perfect environment for pondering the mysteries of Dark Star. And I'd like to thank Professor Wayne Schlingman and the Astronomy Department at Ohio State for their help in making this space available to us. We'll begin with a brief introduction to the song, discussing some of its musical elements and its evolution over time. Then we'll listen to a full performance of the song as played at the Wembley Empire Pool in London, England on April 8, 1972, together with the song Sugar Magnolia that follows. I'll provide a voiceover commentary during the Dark Star performance, and the planetarium will provide some deep space visuals. Dark Star has meant so much to so many people and in such different ways that no single discussion can account for what the song ultimately is. It's certainly one of the most primal and profound songs in the Grateful Dead's repertory, representing for many the epicenter of their musical ethos. This is partly because of the tune and lyrics, but it's also because of the improvisatory episodes or jams in the song, which were so highly variable and exploratory, evoking a constant search for innovation and meaning across its 27 years and some 230 performances in Grateful Dead shows. To understand Dark Star, we naturally begin with Robert Hunter's lyrics. A wonderfully gifted poet, close friend of the band, Hunter was inspired to write them when he chanced to hear the Dead jamming on the earliest formative ideas for the song in 1967. From there, the music and lyrics developed together, each reflecting and influencing the other. The verses are famous in themselves as an evocation of the psychedelic experience, combining a hallucinogenic brilliance of cosmic imagery with the danger of spiritual, psychological, even physical annihilation. The refrain or chorus that follows each verse then turns from that apocalyptic theme toward an offer of companionship, tinged with nocturnal romanticism in a refined literary language that recalls the poetry of T.S. Eliot. The musical setting of these remarkable lyrics is based on a harmonic progression made from two alternating chords that are presented in subtle and varying ways, but can be labeled as A major and E minor. These chords are at first played in such a way that the A major chord feels like the home chord, the first chord of the progression, while the E minor chord seems like the second chord, an alternative chord, an away chord, which will naturally resolve back to the home chord of A major. Since this two-chord progression, which we can call the Dark Star progression, is so commonly played at moments of peace and stability during the instrumental jams, we recognize it as a defining harmonic ground and point of departure for the song as a whole, which would then be in the home key of A. What's fascinating is the way this progression is adjusted in the course of those sung verses. It is used in its straight-ahead version for the first line of Dark Star's melody, sung by Jerry Garcia, which starts not on the home note of A, but rather on the higher pitch of E, and then descends stepwise down to the E an octave below. So rather than starting Dark Star, here's the tune. Dark star crashes, pouring its light into ashes. This is a curious shape for a tune, as it doesn't come to rest on the home note of A, bum, but rather leads downward from E past A to the lower E. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba, bum, bum. That curious melody is then restated 2 more times to fit the 2 other lines of the verse. But in the second and third lines, the 2-chord accompaniment of A and E is reversed, so that the progression begins on E minor as a stronger or home chord, and then moves to the A major as the weak or away chord, ultimately settling back on E minor as the final chord of arrival. So, starting on E minor now. Reason tatters, the forces tear loose from the axis. Searchlight casting for faults in the clouds of delusion. While we may not be consciously aware of it, and while these details might seem subtle, the turn to E minor in this core melody of the song does hint at a tearing loose from the axis of A major as our home chord. Will that harmony of A major ultimately pour its light into the ashes of that mysterious, destabilizing E minor chord? The chorus that follows the first verse seems to answer this question by beginning solidly on A major in both melody and harmony. Shall we go? But it goes on to reaffirm with even greater emphasis the movement to E minor where it bluntly ends. Shall we go? You and I while we can through the transitive nightfall of diamonds. And so the tune and its harmonies leave us in a quandary. Judging by the basic Dark Star progression, which anchors key points of the song, the music would solidly be grounded in the key of A major, or to be precise, A mixolydian. But the tune of the song leads us inexorably toward E minor, or E Dorian, which, as Jerry once said, might be considered the song's true key. Can the musical expressive tension between these 2 harmonies be resolved? After the chorus, the band defers that tension by playing the same instrumental tag that they used for the beginning of the song as a whole. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Since this Dark Star tag is naturally followed by the Dark Star progression, a centering on A major is reborn after the chorus, like a phoenix arising from the ashes of that E major harmony, or as if that E minor arrival was just a passing dream before the return to A. But the truth of the E minor remains, and the grand musical drama of Dark Star will grow out of that essential splinter of threat and alienation between the home of A major and the away of E minor. In their early years, as the Dead learned to jam on the Dark Star tune and progression, they increasingly let go of the A chord and the progression itself in order to pursue the unsettling mystery of E minor as a tonal and dramatic horizon for their improvisations. This was the case, for example, in the epic Live Dead performance of February 1969, considered by some to be the greatest of all Dark Star performances. But soon after that date, the band decided that Dark Star needed to grow beyond that limit, as we see from their explorations with timbre and with harmonic and melodic ideas that open up far more radical horizons for the song's jams. One of those horizons was the chaotic world of space, meaning episodes that were in no defined meter or key, being heavily chromatic, rhythmically free, and introducing all kinds of experimentation, including feedback, string rubbing, wailing, growling, and other extreme sounds. Another direction was the opposite of space, namely repetitive chord patterns that were just different from the defining dark star progression. This direction could go as far as incorporating whole other songs, including their tunes and lyrics, within a Dark Star jam. As a result, when we listen to Dark Star across the years, we hear a music that is growing, changing, questioning itself, and trying out radically different things in the two jams that precede and follow the first verse and chorus. It's fascinating, too, to think about the second verse, chorus, and tag at the end of the song, which take us in yet another direction, and then out of the song entirely. But in the interest of time today, I will not discuss them or many other details of the song's chronology, since the 1972 performance is our focus, and since by that time the Dead had almost entirely given up performing the second verse at the end of Dark Star, preferring simply to take the second jam through to a new song. But we can observe that the band developed an increasingly rich vocabulary of anchor points or strategic ideas for their musical explorations, from which we can assemble, in retrospect, a lexicon of the song's possibilities, applying to all of the performances from 1967 to 1994. I've been able to sort many of these recurring ideas into a sequence of symbols and colors which allow us to visualize and synthesize the evolving nature of those jams. The growing variety of these colors, from purple and blue at first to pink, orange, yellow, red, and green over time, represents increasingly radical explorations, which lead steadily from the Dark Star progression through the conquest of E minor to other modes and keys, timbral experimentations, and ultimately to the chaos of space and the cosmos of new songs. In this way, Dark Star comes to envelop the most extreme as well as familiar soundscapes, as if embracing all music. Linear sequences such as those I've created can provide some sense of the progress and content of any given Dark Star performance in relation to the others. But a more powerful visualization might take the form of a circle or sphere, in which the elements relate to one another in a cyclical, holistic, or even cosmic and spiritual way, in keeping with the perception of band members and their fans. To that end, I've also created an image in mandala form, a mandala being a circular diagram in East and South Asian spiritual traditions that sets powerful forces into contained or harmonious relation. A Dark Star mandala could project the diverse elements of the song as forming an interrelated, incurving holism or unity. The Dead were intimately familiar with the mandala concept, which is present in Bill Walker's beautiful cover painting for the album Anthem of the Sun of 1968. Evoking his experience of a Grateful Dead concert at the very time Dark Star was first developed. Mapping the different elements of Dark Star onto a metaphorical mandala, we are encouraged to understand any performance of the song as an entry into that unique Dark Star cosmology, with its diverse features, regions, and contending forces. At the core of this circle could be the Dark Star progression itself. Placed in a horizontal path across the circle could be the tags, verses, and choruses that define the song's pre-existent structure. And in the vertical spaces around the circle could be mapped the jam episodes like constellations ultimately embracing the infinite chaos of space and the infinite order of other songs. By such means we might suggest, however dimly, the holistic and totalizing experience of Dark Star. The version of the song we'll listen to today stands out for its consistently high level of energy and inspiration, epitomizing the excitement the band felt at the beginning of their 1972 European tour. As we listen to the performance now, on the occasion of its 50th anniversary, you'll hear some added commentary from me, pointing out a few of the many things going on in the music, along with some occasional slides of my Dark Star mandala at a few key moments. Enjoy this beautiful music.
That there's the Olympic solo.
And there's the tag to Dark Star. They're taking it pretty fast. There's a lot of energy here. They're a little out of tune, although that'll get better, and it's actually going to slow down quite a bit as we go. Here's the beautiful Dark Star progression. And Jerry kind of started off right away with the solo. Sometimes he waits. And Bob starts going into another harmony. Right there, beautiful. Leaving the Dark Star progression for its second chord, the E minor chord, and then returning to the Dark Star progression, A, E minor. So a second little solo there, Jerry starting up. And here, Bob again leads the progression, playing a really pretty little vamp of 2 chords, and then going to that beautiful E minor, and a return, loosely on that Dark Star progression as Jerry sails over these harmonic subtleties. Really nice from Bob and from Keith too. Coming down to it and landing hard on the progression. Now interesting, really quick triplets from Jerry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In keeping with the swing rhythm that marks the beginning of this jam. You can hear Phil developing a nice little riff high in the range. But it's not quite in that triple feel. We're going to start moving toward a duple feel here. Can you feel the meter blurring? And now Jerry getting into a new solo. Duple time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, da 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 da. Leaving the Dark Star progression. Jerry working his way up. Bob, beautiful chording on A, on E minor. Philip, Lesh going all over the place. Jerry rising up to E, leaning into the E. Can you hear 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then leaving that behind. A little bit of chromaticism. Jerry coming down. Episode winding down. This is an intimation of the climax riff that they often use at the end of their second jams. Slipping into the minor, a little bit of chromaticism. Bob repeating some chords, Keith riffing. Really interesting shift. Beautiful harmonic changes, freewheeling harmonic changes. Keith settling into D minor. Nice moment in D minor, now in G. Really nice. Excitement's picking up. feel the energy, building the joy. And then back to D minor. Jerry building it down, calming down a little bit. With that D minor. Phil gets into this tremolo, this fluttering A note. Jerry with a D over him, also fluttering tremolo. Keith getting into the same thing. Feels like a nice duple meter. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Intensity building. Bob jamming on some nice harmonies. It's a D minor, G, vamp. Really getting into it. Really strong support from Bill. Reminds me of My Favorite Things by John Coltrane with that 2-chord vamp in the minor. Great foundation for Jerry's soloing here. Really nice. Keith really opening up. Jerry wailing. On that D minor. Up to A. Starting to come down, but great repeated note from Jerry. Stimulates more action. Yeah, nice movement down range. Bill keeping up the energy. Now a nice riff that changes the meter again. 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Building to a real climax in a 3/4 meter. That high A, that key note in Jerry's repertory. And now Phil into a new riff. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Still hovering around D minor. Then Jerry lays out this 2-note riff. Reminds me of a tolling bell, which is not in the meter. Phil goes right through it though, with a really great funky riff in D minor. Bill right behind him. Bob leans on that D minor chord. Phil repeating the note D there, ba-bum, ba-bum. And then they chromaticize. Slipping out of that scale. Could go anywhere. out of the blue, Jerry with his own Dark Star riff. The band falls behind him. And there they are in the Dark Star progression. Bill's locked in, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. With that swing rhythm, 1 and 2, da da ba da ba da. And there it is again, the Dark Star riff that announces the first verse. And the chorus with free percussion from Bill. Beautiful singing from Jerry, wonderful energy, and here's your tag leading back to the Dark Star progression for the second jam. But right away, that progression starts to fall apart. Phil's voice here in this opening of the second jam is often really strong. And he leads as we open up into this jam. Strong A chord. We're in no meter. Bill is giving us a nice wash of cymbals, toms. That's an E minor chord. So now a real timbral exploration. Tapping on the guitar strings, rubbing on the guitar strings. You can hear Jerry playing the wah-wah pedal. Beautiful F sharp from Phil, suggesting maybe a D major chord. But we just keep moving. Beautiful riffing by Keith flourishes in D major. Strong F sharp from Phil. Where are we going next? Beautiful. Going to an E minor chord. Jerry starts a Gentle solo. Chromatic notes. And this great drone on D. Dome. Powerful growling, rich bass sound from Phil. Keith getting into rapid arpeggios. Beautiful sound. Joined by Jerry. You can hear Bill picking up the rhythm again. Jerry tremolo on G. And there we go. Beautiful riff from Phil. Great violin style accompaniment from Bob. So, feels like A minor. Lots of energy from Bill, from Keith, from Phil. Nice funky sound. A little bit of G major. Each of these harmonies is like a different kind of light shining out from the music. And then back to A minor. Back to G. You know, Jerry's on top of all of it, following everything, often leading. And then back to that great D minor that is so important in this jam. Love. Jerry really picking up the energy in the lower register and then building up. D minor all the way through. Up to D. And then up to A. High note for Jerry. He comes back down. Things start to get really interesting. Bob hitting chromatic notes. Phil, Keith hitting chromatic notes. Really intense. Bill really strong behind them. It sounds like this could be the beginning of a tiger jam. A super jagged and intense, hyper-chromatic, hyper-energetic jam. Jerry's all over it, right on top of it. Bob with these amazing high notes behind Jerry. And then a tremolo from Jerry. Takes us a little bit out of that tiger jam. Now you can hear Pigpen on organ, who joins for this part of the jam. Fantastic to have Pigpen there, playing D minor chords, related harmonies. Phil on G major, G major. And then back to D minor. Beautiful. Moving through G major, and then back to D. Tremolo from Jerry. Now notice this nice 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. New groove emerging. Under those tremolos from Jerry and from Keith. And Pigpen. Jerry emerges. Interesting, really strong but slow solo. Still strongly in D minor. Phil really leaning on that scale and that note. Now A minor. Keith is there, Bob is there. The meter melts to gestural rhythms. Beautiful moment where Keith comes to the front of the sound. And you can hear a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 triplet rhythm coming back, that swing rhythm. Beautiful D major, Jerry coming in. G major and then B minor harmony. Singing a new song here on the way to somewhere else. Great support from Bob. Starting to get out of that sense of D major. Some strange notes slipping in. Jerry starting to get chromatic. Bill takes the cue, playing more and more intensively. Getting heavily chromatic. Phil all over the neck of his bass. Looks like we might be returning to that great Tiger jam. One key sign is that Jerry switches to wah-wah pedal. And that classic Tiger jam feature, very fast, duple rhythm, closely packed chromatic, jagged chromatic lines from Jerry. but it's not clear that they're going to go fully into tiger lick. Keith is still hanging on to clear harmonies, some nice stabbing chords. This could go anywhere. Reaching a climax. Great tremolo. Super suspenseful chromatic harmony. Great action from Keith. Amazing from Bill, from Bob, everybody. Jerry reaching a peak of intensity there at the top of his range. And then something amazing happens. Keith and Bob leaning onto an A major harmony, suspended but pointing to something new. Jerry picks up on it, the band picks up on it. All of a sudden we're in A major. A 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're off into a great new jam. Great riff from Bob. Beautiful support from Keith. And of course Phil playing his own tune. Where is it going to go? Little turn. Phil hits a flat 7 and a 4. It looks like we're going to a 1, 7, 4, 1 progression. There we go. Settled into it. Bob here lays in that chromatic line of the mind left body jam. A little bit of a pause. And then what's this? Well, guess what, folks? We've entered into a great folk song. Don't let your deal go down. Don't let your deal go down low, low, till your last gold dollar is gone. There's the mind left body chromatic line from Bob. Third time through the song. Fourth time through. It's time. And Bob just leaps right in with Sugar Magnolia. The band's on it in a nanosecond. And we're off to the races with another great song.
Sugar Magnolia, blossoms blooming, it's all in here, I don't care. Some man baby down by the river, she'd have to come up soon for air. Sweet blossom, come on, under the willow. We can have high times if you lullaby. We can discover the wonders of nature, rolling in the rushes down by the rivers. She's got everything delightful. She's got everything I need. It's the way when I'm in love. Pays my ticket when I speed. She comes skimming through rays and violet. She can wait in a drop or two. She don't come and I don't follow. Waits backstage while I sing to you. She can dance Cajun rhythm, jump like a Willie's four-wheel drive. She's my summer love and the spring for